Should give us a little countdown. Okay, it seems that we are live. Hello, everyone. If you are with us, if you are catching this on the live or the replay, welcome. Come and say hello over in the comment box, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube. We would love to see your names and friendly faces as we're chatting. So come and leave us a hello in the comment box. If you haven't met me already, my name is Holly. I'm a pediatric occupational therapist and a toddler mom. I'm now a preschooler and toddler mom. And on my channel, we talk about all things early childhood development. And today is a really special day because we are doing this interview live with Jo Wilson, all about water play, or playing with our children in water, and the huge benefits and opportunity that this offers. So Jo, welcome. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you, Holly. No, it's great to go out and reach many more parents. So thank you for the opportunity.
Sure. And so if you haven't met Jo already, she is the founder of Aqua Sensory, and she's an international swim tutor for baby and sensory aqua. She's a baby and sensory aqua pioneer and a developmental play practitioner. So Jo, I know that you are on a mission to spread the joy of sensory discovery play in water. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about how you do that, or the work that you do in general?
Yeah, sure. So I'm based in the UK, right in the middle of the UK. If you've heard of Shakespeare, we're very near there, Warwickshire, and we're fortunate to have 2 family swim centres where we teach so many of our swim families, so lots and lots of babies and toddlers. It's an absolute joy to start at that foundation level. And on top, we have a very unique approach, which is a sensory aware approach. And I love spreading that passion to other swim professionals through my work with Aqua Sensory. So yes, it's not just play, it's taking a very nice sort of natural learning approach rather than just really focusing on the swim outcomes, which a lot of the traditional swim programs do. So it's great.
Yeah, I'm so excited to dive into this chat today, because it just seems so natural, right? Like, we were at the pool earlier today, and when you put kids in water, like, they naturally go towards like movements that are like swimming, but there's so much happening in their experience within water. So I know you have so much experience in this. I wonder if you could kick us off with just talking about like what is like sensory discovery play in water? What does that really mean?
Yeah, sure. Well, it's taken play, which we know is absolutely fantastic and so many benefits on dry land. But when you combine it with the magical element water, it's like, wow, it's like rocket fuel for the brain and the body. Water's one of those elements that is naturally multisensory, and of course children, particularly toddlers, they love learning through their senses. It's their preferred mode of learning. So water is so immersive. I'm sure when you're with your little one, it's that 3D all over body experience. But I think we're really fortunate that it's really naturally mindful as well, because there's so many less distractions. And of course, in our modern world, where it's full of like screens and to-do lists, that's really nice, isn't it? You have to have 2 hands, complete focus. So to have that mindful play is really a benefit as well. So totally multisensory, immersive, and of course, little ones can move. And I've been really loving your following your movement as well, really promoting natural and freedom of movement. In the water, toddlers can move in so many more ways than they can on dry land. So so many benefits, but they're natural benefits. It's happening. So whereas maybe on dry land we have to set things up, in the water, as I say, it's a natural process and active as well. So the brain and body is active learning, which is the best type of learning, rather than set things up and then, you know, they're having to be forced to learn, or it's sort of a passive learning experience. So lots of benefits for water naturally.
Definitely. I just thought of so many children that I've worked with before, that you have them on the outside of the pool and you think that you understand the child that's in front of you. Like there's some kind of dynamic that you understand them a little bit, and you put them in water and they're a different child. Like, and that's on so many different aspects, you know, like I remember working with children with cerebral palsy that once they're in the water, the way that they're able to move, it's just so different, and it's such a gift. And the same, like autistic kids on the outside of the water, their, say, verbal ability is so different to once they're inside the water, because as you're saying, it's like this completely multi-sensory experience, that it doesn't just, sometimes as parents we can think of sensory as like a, oh, well, it's like a nice thing that we can give our children, and then maybe they won't be like, I don't know, sensitive about their feet getting dirty or whatever it is. But actually, it's our body learning to communicate, like our brain and our body learning to communicate and actually develop, like giving a child the opportunity to be in water. It's like opening a whole new world for them, really.
And it's responsive as well. There aren't many things that if you just splash it, it splashes you back. So it's actually playful in its very nature. And I think sometimes as parents, we maybe think of sensory, because it's a little bit sometimes of a buzzword. We think of sensory as maybe the parachutes or puppets, and actually the water, just being able to taste it, being able to, all different types of water and pools. And of course, isn't just the pool. When you think you've got your seas and your lakes and your river and even your glass of water at home, your bath, your shower, we forget that water, it's around us everywhere. Water's life. So I like to think that we are providing from a very young age, and toddlers are a great age to provide water messages, that we're safe, that we respect the water, and actually we care for ourselves in the water. And then when we're in water, we have that almost intrinsic desire to love the water as well, which is really, really nice. So yeah, sometimes we think of sensory as putting things in, whereas actually the water itself will, you know, do its job. And of course it's that cushion, isn't it? Being an OT, you'll remember all the benefits of like the proprioception. It's like that hug, that cushion of calm. And I think for our toddlers, it's lovely, you know, when they're getting a bit tired or they're not eating. I think swimming's one of those great regulators, really. I don't know if you're the same, but whenever I go swimming, I'm always tired and hungry after. So it's a great way of actually putting the paddling pool out or having a bath together and burning off a little bit of energy as well. You know, water can be, it's not just your swim lessons, can be actually provided in so many different ways, really.
Yeah, definitely. It does. I mean, if you think about like that proprioceptive input and the deep pressure input, and also the vestibular input from the movement, the type of movements that you're doing, whether you're diving or just spinning around or jumping up and down, it's so rich for our children. So if you are joining us, you've just hopped on now, welcome. I'm here with Jo Wilson from Aqua Sensory, and we are talking about all things water play. Samina, thank you for your hello. It's so good to have like a hello comment, so we know that this is all working. So if you're watching us live, or if you're catching us on a replay, come and leave us a comment, and also leave us questions. We'll be happy to answer at the end. But Jo, you kind of brought in this really interesting part of this now, is that I think that a lot of parents think of like swim lessons or water for babies, like when infants need to go to swim lessons, and then for when they're like school aged or like late kindergarten, when they need to like actually learn the sport of swimming.
Yeah.
So can you talk a little bit about the experience, or what would a class of yours look like maybe with the toddler age? What are they really getting from this experience?
Yeah, sure. So play is really important, that children are really experience water. So if we give too much structure, it sometimes takes the fun out of the sessions. But of course, toddlers really need the borders and boundaries. They need repetition. They need the familiar. So if each week there was a definite start and end, perhaps that is with a rhyme or a song, a safe entry, a safe exit, that's really important. So picking the right time and day and having a really nice routine is important. And then the session is full of actually yourself as a parent to be their model, to demonstrate, to provide praise. And I think little ones learn so much from copying, don't they? Copying us and copying their friends. So even just really simple movements like these are your hands, this is how you splash, and then pause and wait, and then they copy. And then once they can do that is then to add the next layer, and maybe it's about the wheels on the bus and the scoops. So really sort of building it up to their ability and their cognitive level, because also swimming, because it's like multi-skilled, it's better to just do very small activities each time and layer it up, rather than multitask and, say things like bubbles, kick, spooks, bubbles, kick, scoops. That's too much for our little toddlers. So little activities all the time, and to do things that's really fun around familiar rhymes and toys, but not too many toys that it almost like is overwhelming, really, because I think sometimes the pool is, as I say, very multisensory, that actually just being in the water and experiencing their buoyancy and how to float and how to blow bubbles, how to put their faces in, how to walk through water is really lovely. At our swim centre, we've got a lovely little shelf, and our toddlers love crawling through water, which is really, really good fun. So not always your traditional swim, to really think of all the dynamic movement opportunities. And if you've got a twirler, when toddlers just want to sort of naturally twirl in the water and really move their body, I mean, it's wonderful when you can actually see them really loving the water. That's beautiful. And I say to my parents, wow, just stand back, let them move, let them play, let them almost like be aeroplanes facing. But of course, all toddlers are different. You might have a toddler that's a little bit cautious, and that's okay. I think they do change from week to week and month to month. So we always meet our toddlers exactly where they're at, really.
Wow, this sounds so fun. I really appreciate the kind of respectful approach to the child that you take on, like really recognizing where they're at, and honoring that, whether it's that they want to really like go for it and twirl and spin, or if they want to like just take their time to get settled and familiar.
Yeah.
It's interesting, like what you're discussing. I think sometimes parents do have this idea that even at like a toddler age, when we talk about being in water, that we're talking about like a very structured kind of swim lesson. And I did an interview last week on drowning prevention, and Maria spoke about how, in the early years especially, we want to look for that they're water conscious, like she had a specific word that I always forget, but that not necessarily that they could do like all the 4 strokes, but that they have an ability to understand the water and to also keep themselves safe in the water, and just like a familiarity with how to make their body move in water.
Yeah, it's almost like an aquatic readiness. We view our pool like an aquatic classroom, so it's very much a learning experience, but one where they're gaining a real strong sense of themselves in the water, so their personality can unfold, their body can unfold, their skills, and it's a little bit like in their own time and their own way. So a toddler won't necessarily look like formal swim. It might just look like head down, kicking, or For some toddlers, it might just look like lots of splashing, and that's fine too. So I think sometimes we do think that, you know, toddlers swim, and well, some do, of course, but you know, it's that formal strokes where actually just propel movement and loving the water is the real basis. If you have a toddler that loves the water, that's the really solid foundation for all swim strokes.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So I wanted to ask you, what are some of the ideas that you use in your normal classes that parents could maybe start doing, like me, if I'm going to the pool tomorrow with my kids? Like, what can we already start doing to get them, like, really interacting with the water and playing inside of the water?
So I thought I'd sort of like give you a few tips that you can be doing at home, because I think actually having that parallel to the pool and home is really, really lovely. So I think everybody's got a bath or shower, so we always start at home. And I'm a big believer of less is more. So stripping back the distractions, not having any music or TV on in the background. And actually, I even say, take away all the shampoo bottles and just everything around the bathroom and all of the toys, and just starting with the bath and the water and thinking about the different depths, because sometimes it's great to have a really deep bath, and other times actually a nice shallow bath. And I often say even just have something like a towel is really comfy on the bottom of the bath or underneath the head. So anything that we can make it really comfy in the bath for our toddlers. And I have a little cup here we go, really simple thing. So a cup, a little bit of sprinkling the water from the back of the head, and then playing really lovely games. Can you put your cheek in the water? Can you put your nose in? Can you blow bubbles? So lots and lots of things that we could be doing at home, because sometimes our little ones, when they have even their hair shampooed, you sometimes get all these different contraptions like the sunflower hats, or you might have like bath seats. So whilst they are good, I'm a really huge believer that actually once they've done their job, take them off as well. So, you know, make sure that children do get free play in the bath as well, so they're not always in one of those little seats, that they can move and experience. So in the bath and shower, as much as they can, is to have that play and to practice their swim skills. And then, of course, at home, to not forget buckets and paddling pools, and even just things like containers. Can it sink? Can it float? Water can go to different shapes. A little bit of a ball, blow in, straws. When you think about all the different things around your house, so many things can be used, and just small little containers of water, because sometimes for some toddlers, going to a big pool, it's a really big experience. So if we can break it down into small containers, first of all, that really, really works. And then you've got the confidence. And of course, we're looking for confidence, and we're looking for autonomy as well, building the independence, building their self-esteem. So that's really, really nice. And of course, safety. So I've got here, I don't know if you've ever seen one of these. This is like it's a little water noodle.
Yeah, they're great.
What happens is it means that they haven't got anything sort of strapped to them. So no little life jackets, no little armbands. And then that means that they can be able to gain their own balance and buoyancy. Of course, with your supervision. I'm a big believer of parents being in the pool with their toddlers, really safe, with a really nice, because there's so much trust that our little people need. And I always say, let's see the pool and the water from their eyes as well. Let's reframe the moment. Because sometimes we don't mean to. We might say, oh, you've got lazy legs. So I always say, well, actually, but they're doing this and this and this. Oh, look at that beautiful splash. Oh, you know, they're not doing this today. But let's see what they are doing, because you know, our little people, they do wax and wane, and that's fine. There's always something that they are doing that day. And then just really small things that you can be popping in the pool, these little balls that float, that push down and pop up, and lots of water on the face. And then very simple things, even like little links, because some toddlers love to calm and regulate themselves. And that might be chewing, or it might just be holding something. Maybe bring in their favorite toy, their bath toy from home, to the pool as well. So again, they've got their little friend. So small moments, and as a parent, actually looking at the magical moments, because there's always something. Sometimes we do focus on the really big things, you know, that swim across on their own, and we're really focusing on that. But actually, it's the build up, and I just see so much like interaction with my families. It's like that mutual delight. It's really two-way in the water. It's not just all focused on the little one. You know, I think we're having just as much fun in the water as them, when I think if they see us really enjoying the water, wanting to go on to put our faces in, then they copy. And it's just that lovely two-way natural learning experience, really.
So special. I love these examples. I have to say, I love the idea of really like being intentional about taking the moment to honor like what they are developing when they're in the bath. Also, like, I think bath time is probably one of the most like underutilized tools for parents. If your children are ever like cranky, or you feel like you're really having to wind them down, bath time is like the thing that can wash away all tears and grumpiness. It's so much fun for children. When mine were like 2 under 2, if they were ever like, I don't know what I'm going to do, everybody's so fussy, it was like, okay, we need to put them in the bath.
Yeah, my daughter learned her spellings in the bath because she really struggled with just pen and paper. So bath time for us was just really great fun with those little number stickers and things. So I think
I love that.
I have a bit of an expression. The pool is much more than a place to learn to swim. I think, you know, we can learn so much in the water, you know, as I say, that just that social aspect as well, taking turns, you know, throwing, catching. It's that cross lateral, isn't it? And
yeah, absolutely. And this, what you spoke about that like mutual enjoyment of the parent and the child, I really want to encourage anyone that's listening today. I know sometimes as a parent it can feel like uncomfortable to get into your costume and get in the water, and now you don't have your phone and you're not distracted, and you have to really engage with your child, and maybe like that settling into the water process doesn't always feel easy, but it is so powerful. Just as you shared, Jode, when I was working in hydrotherapy, we had one day a year that the parents came along, and I can't tell you how many of those parents, it was like the far majority came to us afterwards and would say like, I don't know if I've ever really felt so connected to my child. You know, that time in the water, it was so powerful. So don't give up that gift in the summer. Really step into it and use it, because it really is a gift for us. Oh, this has been so fascinating. Jo, do you
I think there's a lot of... Yeah, I was going to say there's a lot of science actually behind water. There's a blue mind experience that actually, as humans, we are intrinsically drawn to water, and actually has a different connection in our brain. So that's why, you know, we quite often find that we want to build and we want to live near water. And there's a blue mind that actually has a calming. You only need to look at water and we have that experience. So, and when we're in water, it actually has a different way that it balances out the hormones, so we get a really nice calming feeling, and dopamine, which is that lovely happy hormone. So it's beautiful, really. That's, as I say, it's not just the physical, but there's lots going on inside as well for the brain and body.
Absolutely. Well, I know I'm like now feeling like, oh, I wish I lived closer to you so we can come for your swim lessons. But do you want to tell, is there anything that you'd like to share just as we're closing off, anything that you felt like you want to leave our parents with?
Yeah, sure. So I work with a lot of swim professionals all across the world. So if there's any parents that, are interested in taking a more sensory approach, a gentle approach to swimming, or have had any experiences that they want to share, we're always able to connect with like-minded swim professionals. And on our website, we have a bank of resources, which is our Aqua Sensory ethos. So as I say, if any parents are interested, then to sort of get in touch. It's a different way of learning to swim. So yeah, hopefully there's a few top tips for our parents out there.
Definitely. And all of your links are also below, but would you like to tell our audience where they can find you?
Yeah, sure. We're really active on social media. We've got a really nice Facebook group called Aqua Sensory Connections, which is a free group where I share what we're up to in the pool each week and give lots of top tips. So that's a nice place for parents and swim professionals to connect, which is lovely. And also on Instagram as well, lots of photos, lots of moments in the pool and lots of top tips. So it'd be great to connect with any parents out there wanting to share the love of water. And also if they've got any questions where their little one isn't gelling, I think that's another side that we haven't talked about. We've really just talked about the love, but there is always that other side. So if any parents wants to reach out and the little one isn't connecting with the water, then we can help with that too.
Amazing. It's really helpful to have a resource like that, because a lot of parents that struggle with that, never, like, even on the side of bathing, that the transition into water can be really difficult. Amazing. Well, Jo,
yeah,
all of your links will also be below. So if you're with us here and you didn't catch that, you can just hit the description box and all of Jo's information is below. And so make sure that you reach out and connect with her. But thank you so much for being with us today and for sharing this. It's been so interesting.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you, Holly. It's been great.
Bye, everyone.